Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, in whichever realms of existence you are, whatever mind states you're in, whatever conditions you're in. You are, as always, most welcome to my channel. And just thought I'd make a video. It's a great view here of the harbor where we are in Cornwall for a little break, and give you a glimpse of the harbor and the vast sea, the vast ocean beyond the harbor, the endless ocean, like the endless ocean of the Dharma, to immerse ourselves in. Anyways, so yeah, wanted to talk about today was two dreams I had for my Dharma Dreams series that I had in the past month or so. Two different dreams that were quite significant. Maybe a third that's more of a theme running through my videos. Running through my dreams than a particular dream. But anyway, and with the kind of, overcast sky here in the evening and the mistiness, I just thought it'd be a good atmosphere for doing the nighttime atmosphere for doing a Dharma Dreams episode. So yeah, so the first dream was it was actually, I'm not sure it was one dream. It was more like a series of dreams I had in the same kind of morning. I think it was more toward my later REM cycles. So it was in the early, in the middle of the, in the early morning hours, I would say, that I had these dreams, and they were all kind of in succession false awakenings, and it might have been false awakenings within the same dream or different ones. I'm not sure. But what was happening is, I don't know if you've ever heard that terminology, so I should probably define it. If I've done dream work before in my explorations in the past, mostly of a spiritual nature, but mostly around attempting to lucid dream, which I had some success with in the past, both from kind of trying to incubate lucid dreams, and then also just spontaneously having them because of having done all those different techniques you can do. Anyway, that's something I might discuss at some point, maybe, and talk about dream yoga at some point. Something I was interested in and tried to incorporate in my Buddhist practice in the past. Obviously I wouldn't do that now, but anyways, so false awakenings are, if you're not familiar with that term, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You're in a dream, but you wake up. You dream that you've woken up in your bed or in a different, whatever the environment is you wake up in. That you've woken up, and you get up as though you've woken up, and you're like, oh, okay, it's I'm getting up now, or my nap is over, or whatever it is, whatever the scenario of the dream that arises. But basically, you think in the dream you think you've woken up, and you start to go about your day, your morning or your afternoon or whatever it is when in the dream, the context of the dream that you've woken up. So anyway, I had a dream that there was a succession of these, about maybe 4 or 5 of them, I think, maybe more than that. where I woke up, and each one was a very distinctly different world that I kind of woke up into, both within my relationships, the domicile where I was living, whatever it was, apartment or a house or whatever it was at the time. It was very different each time, and very different family members, and different friends, and different environments. When you go outside, there'd be different, it was just one might be a city, another was just a suburb, another was in the countryside, etc. But it was every one of them was this is all in the same morning that this occurred, this succession of these false awakenings. And I'd wake up in a bed or on a sofa or on a futon or on the ground within whatever the residence where I was, the residence in the dream that I was in. None of them even resembled at all any of my previous apartments or previous houses or current house or anything like that. It was all totally different. And so were the people, although they had familiar vibes about them. They had filmed familiar, they were familiar to me in some way. They might have resembled some of my family, but they didn't really. It was just a different remix of everything. And it was quite striking. In each of the worlds that I woke up into, I was quite a different person too. Like the dream character that I was in the dream was very different. Was a very different version of me, with very different kind of motivations, attitudes, emotions, perceptions, priorities. So I'll give you an example. In one, I was totally on my own, walking up in an apartment. Another, I was like a family man, kind of thing. Another, I was living with roommates who were like friends, etc. So each one was just a different, and each time I woke up, it was a different kind of, situation. Like the whole thing of my life was different in each one. So in one, I had to get up and get going to work, and that kind of thing. In another, I didn't seem to have to worry about that as much. It was almost like I was, I was self-employed or, independently wealthy or something like that, in the dream. Another, anyway, you get the idea. It was just very different. And even the kind of closeness to the people, was different in each dream. One, I think it was just myself and whoever my significant other was, and they were very she was like we weren't very close, or we weren't getting along, or we were kind of very aloof to each other. And then another, it was very close to the family. I hadn't had children and everything, and another, I just had family over and we were doing things. So anyway, it was just totally different. Just totally, everything was different, from occupation to attitudes, to relationships, to like I said, even the location. Oh, and the way each residence looked was very different as well. The decor was very different, had very different tastes in each of them. And some of them it was just very plain and sparsely decorated, and others were, if at all, and then others were quite nice and tastefully decorated, and etc. And there were just different situations too in the dream. So one of them was just kind of normal, some of them it was just kind of normal everyday kind of things when I'd get up, whatever was going on at that time of the day with family or myself, I'd just be going about doing it. And others, there was like, there's this big hustle and bustle outside. There was some kind of fair or festival outside or something like that going on. In one of them, someone was trying to break in to my house or my apartment. So it was just a whole range of, obviously, so there's all kinds of fear and hiding and stuff in that one. And then with the ones where there was some kind of celebration in the street going on, like some kind of big festival, it was very celebratory, and then, etc. So it was very different. Everything was very different, each one. And so I was reflecting on that, and, it was just when I was just thinking about it, and it just kind of made me think of, kind of Dharma wise, it made me think of all the different worlds of Buddhism. In Buddhist teaching, the 10 worlds, or the different worlds that beings are born into, in terms of their, each of the 10 worlds are a real, a real in the sense that beings believe they're real places. They're experiencing, whatever that they're in. It's a realm where beings actually, are born and are reborn into, and live out these lives and perceptions and things. It's also a state of consciousness, each of the worlds, and it's also a teaching, each of the worlds. And there's, as I always say with Buddhism, it's all multi-layered. But so that's what it made me reflect on, was the different, it made me reflect on the different worlds of Buddhism. It made me think of that, we're always in different worlds all the time. We're in the human realm, well, some of us, there might be beings listening to this who aren't in the human realm, but whatever realm you're in. But if you're in the human realm, that, just as an example, we exist also in all the other 10 realms to some degree. We have some aspect of that realm that we're in some way, within our sort of mind stream, consciousness, mind state. And so it made me reflect on that. It also made me reflect on the, all the different lives that I've lived over countless, millennia, countless kalpas, incalculable kalpas, bazillions of kalpas of time, and all the different, human realms, which it's rare to live, human realms. It's rare to have human births. But if you look at it over, it made me think of over gazillions of countless bazillions of kalpas of time, and universes and things, of Buddhist cosmology that I would have been born into. It kind of made me reflect on that. How many times was I born in the human realm and squander that, or didn't squander it, and in some way made some kind of karmic connections with Buddhas, or the bodhisattvas, or in some way connected with Buddhism along the way, which is even more rare than human birth. But anyway, it made me kind of reflect on all that, and how many different ways I've lived. My diluted mind stream has manifested because of my karma in various ways in these different times and worlds, as in the human realm. So it made me kind of reflect on that as well. And all the how the varying sufferings. So of each of those worlds I was in, the varying sufferings that I was going through, and the family or friends or significant others around me were going through, in the human realm. of various kinds. So it just, in general, it kind of, that's what it kind of, when I started, wow, that was really, I started to think about it. That was really kind of cool. I love dreaming. I love to explore, to remember my dreams and explore my dreams. And it's looking very kind of, I love that. Anyway, just pause for a minute to see the town, the lights coming on in the town across the harbor there. But anyway, yeah, I love to explore my dreams. I love to remember my dreams, and whatever they are, whether they're dharmic related or not. In some ways, they probably, you could make an argument that everything's dharmic related, because we're, everything we experience in samsaric existence is none other than nirvana, and in the more phenomena sense, everything is dharmas. Multiple dharmas we experience all the time, countless dharmas simultaneously. Anyway, in the lowercase d dharma sense. Anyway, so I like to remember my dreams and reflect on them. But as soon as I saw these, I was like, wow, those are really cool. But not long after I started remembering them and trying to, I do a kind of rewind. There's these techniques that you can, that people have developed, sort of over, over the years and over the different people doing dream research and things. That you could, techniques to remember your dreams, and ways to kind of set you so you remember them. You can set your own kind of reminder to remember them when you wake up, and then you kind of rewind from the latest one backwards. Anyway, so as I was doing that, pretty much once I got through all and remembered as much as I could at that time, that's when it hit me that the reflection on the multiple worlds of kind of Buddhism that it kind of made me reflect on. Yeah, so I don't want to go into every single reflection I had about it, but that was one of the things that was one of the dreams that I wanted to talk about. Another is this dream was really very cool. The second dream I'm going to talk about. The dream character that I, thought I was in the dream, was sitting in a stream on this kind of like looked like kind of old ruins of something, of like almost like kind of like steps, kind of like steps, but with like knobbly bits and broken off bits and things. But it really wasn't steps. It was some kind of like I don't know if it was a platform or a support for something as well. So it wasn't just steps into the water, because it was out in the water, out in this it was like a stream or a river, probably more like a river, and not a huge river. Maybe more like a stream, a good deep stream, say, and it was kind of murky. It was flowing decently, but it was murky. So there was a lot of like algae and mossy type things kind of flowing in the water, all around, like growing on this like stone thing that I was sitting on, and also in the water and things, kind of that green stuff, I don't know if it's algae or moss or whatever it is that kind of collects in the water and is flowing. Can't really call it seaweed because it wasn't in the ocean, but I think you get the idea. Anyway, although there was actually seaweed, so I think I might have been in some kind of estuary kind of thing where it was partly fresh water, partly salt water. Actually, now that I think about it. So this is kind of, the water's flowing, but I was in this like nook. This stone thing was kind of in this nook. So though the water was flowing quite well past that, it kind of got caught in this kind of little like alcove off of the stream, or off of this river, or off of this estuary. It was kind of caught, and it was like, you know, kind of not flowing with the rest of the water. So and I was sitting there, and I think there were actually some like maybe Buddhist like symbols on the stone, like Buddhist wheels kind of ish, like the traditional Buddhist wheel kind of looking thing, and also maybe some like Buddha, like actual, reliefs of Buddhas and things, or scenes from like Buddhist stories, that kind of thing on the stone. But there was all this algae and whatever it is, algae, or all this green kind of growth on it, covering it. And I was trying to figure out, like, and I was getting I was also tangled in this stuff that was in the water, this the green stuff flowing, and the seaweed and stuff. And I was kind of entangled in it. Obvious symbolism there. It was like tangled around my toes and my legs and things. And I was trying to untangle, but also trying to just explore what this stone thing that was underneath me, that I was sitting on. Like trying to get a look at the reliefs on it, the relief, the carvings, the reliefs of the Buddhist wheels and the Buddhist scenes and things, just to get a better picture of it. I was really curious, like, what is this? I didn't even realize, like, oh, what is this I'm sitting on? What is this? And I was trying to kind of like, remove the debris and things, and I just couldn't. Like, it was just too much. There was too much of it. Obvious symbolism there. Do I have to really, explain that? Of this, murky water and murky, seaweed and murky green, algae and green growths on this thing that were swaying back and forth, and and it was distorting everything. I couldn't see this foundation that I was on, this stone thing that I was on in the water. So, I think the symbolism there is kind of obvious, that, it's the channels of faith, quite obviously. It was pretty immediate when I woke up from that one. I remember that one, what that was talking about. This was like the channels of faith, and it got, I was stuck kind of in a little bog there, not a bog, but a little alcove where the water really wasn't flowing, and all this stuff could just kind of grow, and, kind of where I'm at right now, and where I've been before hitting the wall. Realizing more and more, like, the more I try to clear it myself, the less it doesn't work. I can't. The less I can see things, the less it doesn't really help. And I was only getting frustrated in the dream, trying to move this stuff out of the way so I could see the Buddhist, symbols, reliefs on this stone, these stone steps. I'm sure there's something with the steps as well. There's probably some symbolism there, of things, but so yeah, it was just, obviously the kleshas that cover the Buddha, the kleshas within me, the bono, the kleshas, the defilements, the attachments, the aversions, the ignorance that covers the mirror, that covers the mirror, and can't, we can't see the clear mirror is there, the Buddha nature is there, but we can't see it, we can't grasp it, we can't understand it. And the more I tried to, work, and so maybe if I move this over here, it's like my calculations were going, like if I move this over here, maybe I can see this bit. If I move this bit out of the way, I'll be able to see this better, and maybe figure out what that is, and calculations going on there as well. And again, nothing that I did, I could catch glimpses you know, I was catching glimpses of the Dharma, you know, in this. I was catching, you know, with my own efforts, you know, I was catching glimpses of these reliefs on there, but not for very long and not very well. And you know, and I just couldn't, you know, of my own power, my own self power, my own, you know, ego efforts, my own calculating hakarai. I couldn't. There was no avail. It wouldn't reveal any more of the of you know what was on this, you know, stone thing that I was on. And it was interesting. I was sitting on it. It was holding me up, you know, this whole time. You know, and it was a solid foundation, but you know, that never occurred to me in the dream. It occurred to me afterward. It occurred to me afterward. You know, there's the solid foundation is already there. You know, the solid foundation of Buddha nature, of the Dharma, of Amida Buddha. It's already there. But you know, I was still calculating and trying to figure it all out when, you know, really all I have to do is just lay back and let the water take me, you know, let the waters of the, you know, flow into the waters of Amida's Dharma. Anyway, so yeah, that was quite, it was quite a calm. I wasn't, when I was saying I was getting frustrated and things, it was quite a calm, really lovely, the sound of the water, the time of day it was, do you know what I mean? The sun was shining. It was quite a beautiful day in the dream. So I was just frustrated trying to see these, but it was still quite a calm, kind of lovely place, you know, and I was like sort of mild. It was, you know, I was frustrated, but it was like mildly. It wasn't a huge, like, you know, where I was getting upset or anything. But anyway, it was quite a significant, for me anyway. It was quite a significant dream that I was, you know, that I had, and you know, all these kind of reflections came to the fore and more that I can't even recall now. You know, through Amida's working and through Amida's light, you know, these reflections coming. So yeah, I thought that would be quite appropriate to do, you know, at this location where I am, because it's very much a water dream on a, you know, estuary. This is a harbor, obviously, but it's gonna obviously there's gonna be the mix of the fresh water and the at some point the fresh water and the salt water, the seawater. But anyway, further down that way, I think. Anyway, yeah, I think that about covers those two dreams. I've been wanting to do that for a little while now. I've been trying to get caught up, you know, with my videos and, you know, get them all posted up to the present, and it's been busy anyway. So I just finally, we were on a break, like I said, here in Cornwall, so I just thought I'll make a video and do it. So hope, thanks for listening. And you know, yeah, I hope in some way that you enjoyed that or got something out of it through, you know, Amida's working, obviously, not through mine. And yeah, so thanks for listening, and take care. All the best. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namida Butsu. Namida Butsu. Take care. Until next time.